And welcome to game number 1 in our best of 3 semifinal between Blues and Cubit. Today we are going to have Soren Johnson joining us for this particular match, so that'll be nice to just have a little bit more input from the developer on what he sees happening as well.
No classic scientific spot in this map that I can see, although I'd like to see someone try with the silicon iron in the southwest.
Yeah, the silicon iron is actually pretty tempting to me this game, just because I don't really want to go anywhere else on this map.
Yeah, and you buy ice, so you can theoretically get water that way if you wanted. And the high water's not that far away.
I do think it might be possible in the northeast corner to fit a scientist in there.
Oh yeah, I guess there are 2 iron. That's interesting.
Well, there's a decent patch of iron just below the geotherm. It's just a little ways away, but maybe you could make it work.
Yep. Well, it looks like Cubit's going for it.
Oh yeah, Blues taking the northeast corner, Cubit taking the southwest, so kind of both the areas that we were talking about going ahead and being selected by these players. All the players really seeming to favor scientific right now. That's almost all they seem to want to play.
Yeah, I didn't notice that so much in the earlier rounds, but I almost have a feeling that once the people are playing, once they're playing opponents that they're, maybe a little more worried about, they're, maybe sticking to scientific because they feel like it's safer.
Yeah, exactly. Scientists usually feeling pretty safe, really hard for black market to get in your way too much. There are pirates this game, so maybe something our players are going to have to watch out for, especially Cubit. If he wants to use water-based resources, he is going to have to be careful for pirates, I think. But there are ways around them, just maybe taking the one high water tile along with everything else could work out for him. 2 aluminum out of Cubit this early in the game. He just wants to steal steel for his glass for the time being, it looks like.
I feel like that's too far away to put down 2 aluminum mines, but I guess we'll see.
That is really far away. I mean, the thing I will say about it is he has really easy access to silicon, and I feel like you can always get away with this better when you're relying on silicon. We even saw last night at a Game Slayer this fact that he took 2 aluminum tiles. They weren't that far away, but he took 2 of them, and then he transitioned 1 into a solar panel and put another solar panel next to that, and it all kind of worked out in the end.
Yeah.
Pretty well for him. So I always do like it better when you've got access to that silicon for the solar panels on the tiles.
Yeah. Now Blues has the extra tile, so what's he doing with it? They're still staying on them, I guess.
Yeah, he's still got 2 that he's sitting on right now. Probably going into farms, just to guess, because that's what everybody does as a scientist if they can get away with it on HQ level 2. Oh, and pirates already. Wow, on the aluminum.
Oh man, look at that steel price.
Yeah,
Wow.
these guys killed steel instantly. That is impressive. And Cubit going into 4 steel mills. I was a little nervous about that. I think he may have elected to do that because Blues was sitting back on 2.
Right. But this kind of gives Blues a slight advantage. He can now go somewhere else with his extra claims.
Yeah, exactly. He's
still sitting on.
I mean, he effectively, at this stage of the game, has 2 extra claims instead of the 1 extra claim.
I mean, look at the price of aluminum and steel. He's just throw down a geotherm right now. It costs a total of 2,400. I mean, that's a steal.
Yeah, that's basically nothing. Really, really nice to see. Now, one thing I will say in Cubit's favor is the neutral colony this game. Once again, 5 warehouses. And this always creates an interesting game to me because it's consuming 1 glass. So much glass. And so that's really nice for Cubit.
Yeah, that is a really big advantage for him. That makes that fighting location really much more valuable.
Yeah, it also allows him to just very easily transition this steel mill into a glass furnace right now. And so that's going to be very, very strong moving forward this game. I mean, $100 a piece from those glass furnaces right now.
Honestly, he should delete the third of the steel mill and put a glass furnace there just to get the triangle. I mean, there's no reason not to, I think.
That is definitely an option for him. I think maybe the reason he wouldn't be is so that he can develop a steel stockpile, because eventually Blues is going to need some steel, right? He's going to want to go into reactors, almost certainly. He's going to want to upgrade HQ level 3. He's going to eventually get some steel going, so maybe having that stockpile ready to go long term will work in Cubit's favor.
Oh man, Cubit's already getting a second geotherm out.
Well,
he's doing really well. I feel like Blues should have found something else to do than trying to make glass. He's just not going to be making much money off of it.
Yeah, the glass furnace really makes me nervous here because, yeah, glass is valuable and that's great and all, but with only 1 furnace, without it being on top of silicon, with your opponent already being there.
Yeah, I feel like he should have put He should have done more farms or maybe a couple reactors and just, you know, held his nose and bought the glass. I mean, it's rough, but you know, he's just not going to make enough money, and it's going to cost so much fuel.
Yeah, I was really concerned, actually, about the fact that he didn't, despite the high glass price, I think the triple farm still would have made a lot of sense this game.
Yeah, triple farm and a geotherm quite a while ago, I think, would have been great.
Yeah, and instead, Blues is in a position where he's actually just kind of trying to avoid upgrading. He's bought, I think, 2 additional claims this game.
Sure.
If I'm looking at everything correctly, and Cubit's bought 1, so he's just, Blues just trying to use that resource to keep up, rather than having to buy this glass.
And that's fine, but if you go that way, your advantage is you can ignore glass a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be so hard with the colony driving up the price of glass. I mean, I'd be terrified if I was playing the game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta say, I feel like Cubit, he's gonna play this out smart. He's not gonna sell down too much glass. He's just gonna sit on it, wait until he can use it to upgrade, and then just keep moving forward from there, and he'll be just fine.
Yeah, he should use dynamite on the silicon quarry.
That would be amusing, at least.
Because it would take so long to repair.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is quite a bit of money. I mean, $67, even at the cost of all that fuel, is pretty valuable. Although Cubit's decided he just wants to pirate the silicon anyway, so, you know, maybe won't blow it up anytime soon.
Yeah.
Well, Blues is on into reactors as well as his farms and a couple of glass furnaces now. The glass furnace is still not doing as well as any of his other buildings, so I'm still kind of nervous and concerned about those, but they do at least give him some small degree of security against that glass price, so maybe not the end of the world.
Now, I don't like the placement of the pirates. You know, it's funny, I haven't seen people start to adapt to this yet, but I feel like with fuel prices being so important now, like when you place the pirates, you should try to get them as close to the other opponent's HQ as possible. Make them spend all their fuel before you steal the silicon from them.
That is one method for it. Actually, I will say, I either like doing that, placing them as close as possible as is reasonable, or right next to the thing so you get the resource immediately. Right?
Sure.
Those are the two, like, schools of thought, I would think, on how to place your pirates, whereas Cubit's just gone for this general middle ground that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once the ships are in the air, like, it really doesn't matter if you're right next to the HQ or you're next to the building, right?
Right.
So, wow.
Nothing for that auction.
I mean, power's on its way to $1, but that was, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And I like seeing the pad lab up. It's be interesting to see what Cubit has in mind for it.
Yeah, that's going to be weird, this game.
It seems like it was a little unnecessary. It seems like it's a pretty solid lead right now as it is.
Well, but when you have a strong lead, if you can afford it, just to, like, secure that, make sure, and it is teleportation, which is kind of what I expected it to be this game.
Yeah, that's awesome on this map. I mean, when he goes to level 5, he could put, there's a bunch of places he could put something down on.
Yeah, well, and you can see he's already elected to go after, whoa, goodbye Patent Lab. Well, I like that move out of Blues.
Although, what's the point? Unless he's going to build his own. Oh, he is building his own. All right. Wow.
That's the point line.
I don't know.
And, okay, Cubit has gone ahead and got his own goon squad. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what we should be asking ourselves is what can Blues do to get back into this game right now?
I mean, the Patent Lab was maybe a potential option for what he would like to do. Are you serious that that's where this goon squad is? I hadn't actually spotted that until just now.
Which one?
The Blues goon squad.
Oh, well, I guess he was worried about dynamiting the silicon.
Yeah, apparently.
It's not often someone goon squads a building that's losing your money. Well, I guess it's not actually losing the money now, but...
Getting him a lot of debt, certainly.
Yeah.
And technically losing money since he was trying to make all that fuel, and that hasn't gone well for him. I mean, I'm really concerned about the fact that he doesn't have 3 reactors going. And whoa, that's like some aggression.
Blues is behind in the teleportation race by 9 seconds.
Not really surprised by that. I mean, the explosion was nice, but it wasn't going to get him teleportation. Not quite. Yeah. Just a little too late to that Patent Lab. So it's unfortunate Blues wasn't able to identify that. This does look like a bit of a spite teleportation, which is fine. Obviously, it helps his silicon, but that would be about it.
Sure.
Oh, bold move out of Blues. I'm really curious if he's gonna survive that. I think he will.
What did he do? I missed it.
Oh, upgrading.
Oh, upgrading.
While,
Yeah, that's
while
not...
Cubit's buying into him right now. Like, he's not going to be able to use that very effectively at this point. He is throwing down a quarry, it looks like, for some silicon.
The question is,
I think he'll live.
How fast is Cubit making money? I mean, now that he's got the other thing is that with teleportation, he's going to be able to make his money. He doesn't have that gap waiting to make money.
Well, yeah, teleportation was immediately going to be a huge influx for him, right? Because he just gets all the stuff that was sitting around out in the middle of nowhere. And of course, now he's going to have that great flow. You're exactly correct. From the farms and reactors rather than having to wait. Also had the nice side effect of wasting Blue's pirates.
See, Blue's got a core. Have you seen the new core sample thing? Now it actually tells you what's the most likely resource to get out of each terrain tile.
Well, that's nice.
And what percentage chance you're going to have to get it.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, the core sample was just so random. It felt, from the player's perspective, right? No idea what was going to pop out of that thing.
Yeah. Now you can pretty much, it's pretty useful now, I would say. You're looking, especially if you're looking to make a triangle that you didn't have before.
Well, Cubit can get one more bit of stock. I doubt he's going to go after that, though. Because at this point, it's pretty clear that Blues will be able to defend himself.
Be interested to see if Cubit starts selling out of Blues.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised. Oh, well, there goes an off-world market. Of course, if Blue's paying attention, he'll have an idea of what's going on here, right?
Yep.
We're not surprised.
And the off-world market is not great this game. Like,
wow, Blues went right away into it. That's great.
yeah, he's paying attention. He knows what's up. I mean, come on, you're playing a 1v1. You should spend all your spare time hovering over your opponent's colony, not yours.
I can't do that. I wish I could. It's so hard.
It's useful.
Yeah.
Definitely pretty handy to do. Now, he's not going to know exactly maybe when this off-world is going to be finished up. So I'm kind of curious exactly how he'll respond to it, because he doesn't really want to power surge it right away.
Yep. Interesting that Cubit's turned those aluminum mines into ice condensers. That's actually working out pretty well for him.
Yeah, I saw that earlier, where he's pulling in some water. I mean, water's not all that valuable.
It was a second ago. They were both making 40 a second.
All right, fair enough.
Sold out of it. But with teleportation, it works out pretty nicely.
Yeah, with teleportation, it's definitely not a bad thing to have. I am kind of curious if, because he has teleportation, would it maybe be more viable for him to put a different building there?
So that awful market is unprotected right now.
Yes, it is. Blues does have his black
Blues
market.
could buy dynamite. There's lots of stuff he could do to it. I mean, he knows he cleared off the goon squad. He should really move now while he can. Cubit's got 3 seconds left on his black market cooldown.
Although he does have a goon squad stored up right now, I believe. Cubit.
Yeah, I guess he does.
Just being a little bit slow, both of our players just being a little bit slow to that
Make your move
nanotech.
now, Blues. This is one thing that would even them up quite a bit. Nope. Too late.
Nothing. Not happening.
Missed his window.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate for Blues. I don't know what he thought was more important in his territory than dealing with that off-world market that he could have been pretty sure was an off-world market. Maybe he did think it was suddenly just a glass furnace. I don't know.
Well, circuit overloads would be a good way to clear that goon squad. Although, heck, power surges are cheaper.
We're not surprised, just disappointed.
He just did it.
Yep,
Circuit
there
overload.
you go.
Would have been cheaper with a power surge, but oh well.
That's true. That's so amusing, actually.
I think he probably just did that by default.
Well, it's cheaper immediately to use the power surge. Oh, man, Blues. Blues.
I suppose he's more afraid of handing over a power surge over to...
What are you doing, Blues?
Oh, this is weird.
Blues tried to just go for the kill, like, instantly,
What is he
and he
doing?
couldn't quite get there, so now he has to get it all back very, very fast.
How did he think he was that close?
He made it. He was pushing pretty close. Like,
Yeah,
he
but-
was almost there, and he was just trying to fit it in before that launch, I think.
Does he have a spy down? He doesn't have a spy down.
I don't think so, but...
Put the spy down!
I know,
Oh,
right?
Then he could dynamite. Oh, man.
I know.
He has a chance in this game. He's just blowing it with the offworld.
He definitely did have a chance this game. A
Right.
little
He's
bit
got
less
2
confident
seconds,
now.
1 second on the cooldown. Buy that dynamite, hit that offworld. Buy
It's
the
a power
dynamite.
surge.
Okay, alright, that's fine.
Fair enough. Fair enough. One thing to mention about the Circuit Overload versus the Power Surge is, yeah, Power Surge is cheaper, but which one would you rather get hit by when it runs into that goon squad?
Yeah. It's funny, if you look at their assets, they're actually fair. The only thing differentiating them right now is that Offworld market. Their stock is exactly identical. They have similar debt. They have about the same amount of money. So the only real difference is the Offworld. So if he can blow up that Offworld and somehow build his own, I mean, he has a chance at this game.
Well, that is definitely an option. Cubit going for a hacker right here. That'll be interesting. I will say that Offworld feels like a pretty important difference.
Yep.
And I am still really, really concerned about the fact that Blues just hasn't done enough with Cubit diverting himself into that Offworld to really keep up anywhere. Like, I don't see where his real edge is here that he can exploit.
Well, he just dropped down a hologram, so...
Nobody
Is he
wants
close?
a carbon tile.
The black market is online.
Look at all the
Man,
money.
$35, that's a weird choice.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, I would probably pay some debt for that, especially if I was Cubit.
Yep.
Because, I mean, Cubit does have... They both do have some carbon tiles, right? There's no...
Oh, man. Cubit would just buy
Not
right
surprised,
down on
just
top of the
disappointed
Offworld.
in you.
Well, yeah.
There's just no... Yeah, you're not going to sneak something by Cubit.
We call it a dirty rat shrine.
That's always
for
amazing to me
cows.
because people who pick that stuff up, it means they're basically by default most of the time looking at their opponent's headquarters instead of their own,
Oh, yeah.
right? I mean,
Why wouldn't you? There's nothing to see at your HQ. There's nothing going on there.
Yeah,
You're done putting
yeah.
buildings down. But your opponent, he's sneaky. No idea what he's going to be up to. Cubit's still with that distinct advantage this game, though. I don't know what Blues is going to be able to do, just because it didn't feel like he was responding fast enough to that off-world
Yeah.
market when it initially came down.
you know, this game is still has going to have some time in it. I might almost throw down a hologram patent lab and try to figure out a way to use that to. Let me see. I'm not sure what type of patents would help out. Although, or the hacker array. I mean, that's another reason. Like they're still fairly evenly matched. So you know, I think the hacker array is a good move.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, Blues is making as much oxygen as Cubit,
The
so
black market is online.
It's true.
that. But you got to do something else besides an off-world market. Basically, is what I'm saying. You know, get into an upgrade lab, a patent lab, a hacker array, do something. Did Cubit just buy into a bunch of oxygen or something? He's a bunch of fuel. Why is
No,
he
he's
shorting
not-
fuel? He's got 400 fuel.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Could short water even. He's got that. Blues
Yeah.
isn't pulling that in.
Yeah, that's his differential. I mean, they're both scientific, but he's the one who's making water. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're definitely right about that.
Regardless of whatever he shorts, I imagine Cubit will be pushing toward that victory before too long. These food shipments are doing a lot better now that the
Yeah.
game has progressed a little longer. This hacker array is going to allow him to turn his $150,000 into a lot more. And just to be safe, he's going for the double off-world because I guess he just doesn't
not
feel
surprised,
threatened
just
at all at this
disappointed
stage of the
in you.
game.
Sure. I mean, it makes sense.
Look
If you're not that
dirty
close to a
rat
victory,
power stuff.
just keep your lead. Blues needs to get a spy down on that hacker array, though. I mean, if it's out in the open like that, you got to do that.
Both
No one
these
wants a
players
pleasure
are
dome?
just
Wow.
terrified of death. I mean, it's just
I
a
mean-
pleasure dome, right?
Yeah.
But I still think it would probably have been worth it with power at $11.
It would have been making probably about 100 a second with the bonuses.
You know, once all was said and done.
So at 10,000, what is that? That means you have to wait 100 seconds for it to pay off. And
Well, except it's all debt that
Yeah.
you took on, so you know.
well,
it's
but
like-
they're close enough to D at this point that I think you
We're
kind of
not
have to think of it as
surprised,
1-to-1.
just
I mean,
It's fair.
They can't go to D debt. Like,
No.
that's a major
No, no,
issue.
no, no.
In fact, Blues needs to get out of C debt because once the day ticks, basically when you're in C debt, it's like, okay, you're fine, but you better pay it off before
for
the morning,
interest. Yeah.
because then you'll be in D debt.
All right. Blues is starting to get some food shipments going. Managed to defend himself long enough for that.
Yeah.
But he still doesn't have any way to get aggressive against these two off-world markets, not managing to utilize the dynamite at all. Cubit's sitting on dynamite, sitting on a circuit overload.
Yeah. Well, you know, what was I going to say?
Goodbye, off-world.
I mean, Cubit is going to win this game.
Yeah.
But I am
Yeah.
surprised that this game has gone as long as it has. It felt like Cubit had a pretty solid advantage and I'm surprised Blues has been able to keep it this close.
Yeah, and I feel like if Blues had just been a little bit faster on the black market, we really could have seen an interesting game.
He had his opportunity. If he was able to get a couple dynamites down on those off-worlds, it would have totally changed. He had his chance.
Oh, and he even had spies available for 3,000.
Yeah.
Not always true in a 1v1. So
Yeah, this is I think the big mistake he made in this game is not using spies for sure. I guess they're down now, but a little too late.
there's some good effort, but yeah, as you said, too little, too late. Not quite enough to push on through to actually take the game.
Yeah, that and trying to make glass work at level. Would have that been level 2 or level 3? I mean, I think that was his big mistake.
Level 2, he had a glass furnace down, and it's like, why? It's almost always a mistake to have a glass furnace down.
Yeah. Level 2, you got to be concerned about making money at that point. Like, especially in a 1v1 game. You got to make money, you got to get to level 3. And so all your buildings have to be... Yeah, I mean, I understand the logic. He wants the glass furnace to make him glass so he can upgrade. But it's just not going to be... half a unit a second is not going to be enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's effectively nothing. It's 1/3 of 2 glass furnaces. Just not quite there.